What's the deal, y'all? It's Kali the One. I'm back again with another episode, man. If you are watching this, make sure you like, subscribe, share, run me up, get me in the algorithm, man. If you're also watching this, please make sure you head over to the Viral Way podcast, tap in with us, like, subscribe, share, run us up, get us in the algorithm, keep the movement moving. Without further ado, I want to get into the first topic I got here for the day. As you guys all know, famous WNBA player by the name of Angel Reese, who also just recently started a podcast not too long ago, where she has guests on and she talks to them about a multitude of things. With that being said, she did just have an interview with Shaq, where they talked about a couple of things, and there was a clip that went viral from him saying, she should wear these little shorts, and the WNBA would sell more tickets and stuff like that if she was to wear these little shorts. She didn't seem too happy about it, but I'm gonna show y'all right now so we can go ahead and get into it, because I think it's interesting that this is taking place. Let me go to my bookmarks real quick. Okay, where we at with it? Right.
Billy the dog. Bro, imagine you in
I'm not imagining.
Let me finish. Imagine you in the same little shirt you had on at the Wild and Out show, Duncan. You know how many t-shirts you gonna sell, cuz? You tripping.
Oh my
What?
God.
What?
Oh God.
The same little shirt you had on.
Okay. All right. All right. All right.
Duncan,
all right. All right.
Bro. Billy the dog. Bro.
All right, I want to show that one, but I want to show the one that's right next to her too, just so y'all can see this as well.
Still think about you.
Come on, Reese.
I still think about the red while I'm sipping vodka. I've been thinking about your head, thinking about you topping me. Babe, I do this shit for you, babe. I know you be watching me. Push your P, I ain't no pimp to check out my philosophy. Just tell me how you want it. Tell me you don't want it.
Look. All right, y'all know what it is. We all know what it is. Look, man. Two things can be true at the same time. I think that women can want to dress sexy and want to be sexualized, but also at the same time not want to be. As crazy as it sounds, I think us as men, there's just some things that we're not going to understand about women. This is one of those things. She's obviously dressing very provocative. She's got her ass out. You know what I mean? She knows exactly what she's doing. She knows the attention that she's bringing. And so I agree to a certain degree that, hey, when you have this kind of look, right, why not then go and market it, right? That's what Shaq was trying to say. Why not go and wear these? Because the internet was in a frenzy when you put this outfit on. Why not go put this outfit on again? Or why not go get some little shorts like that again? And, you know what I mean, put that in the WNBA. Sales would go up. Or you know how much would sell. So I think to a certain degree when you already market yourself that way without any money behind it, somebody then telling you to market yourself and put some money behind it or to make money off of it, I don't understand why then you are offended, because you're doing it for free. You're showing your ass, you're showing your titties, nipples, coochie print, all of that. You're doing it for free. So when somebody then says, hey, why don't you do it for some money? It's offensive. Now, I also think another thing can be true, which is them not necessarily wanting a certain kind of attention a certain type of way. Right. Now, say if Shaq would have been maybe 27 years old or 25 years old and there wouldn't have been no cameras around and whoever that person was a basketball player and they maybe said the same thing, might be a whole different reaction. But I think due to the camera, due to it being Shaq and his age and who he is to her, that weirded her out. And so I think, again, this is one of those double standards that we can't necessarily understand, but I think we all know as men, depending on if a woman likes you or not, you can get certain shit off. So you may be able to come up and say something a little bit crazier if you're more attractive or if she deems you more attractive compared to if you're not more attractive or more attractive, or if she doesn't deem you more attractive, you might not be able to get away with X, Y, and Z like I can or whoever else can. So there's that double standard when it comes to women of, yeah, I want to dress sexy, I want to be sexy, and I want to get the attention of men, but only the attention of men that I want. And so, as crazy as that sounds, it's a double standard. Me personally, I stopped trying to figure that one out a long time ago because that's just what women are gonna do, y'all. They gonna want they got the appeal, they want the attention, and then when they get it, depending on who it is, they don't want it. So that is just what it is. I don't know why we're still in a frenzy over this and yelling at her and telling her, well, you dress like this, so you should, you know what I mean? You should be expecting the attention. Of course she's actually, I don't think she's expecting it, but of course she should be expecting it. However, again, that's where there comes that double standard of, well, I want that attention from this guy over here, not this guy over here. But the thing she needs to understand is you can't pick and choose who you get the attention from once you put yourself out there. So if you're wearing little ass shorts where your ass is hanging out, titties hanging out, nipples poking, and anybody and everybody comes up to you and tries to get a piece, you can obviously at that point say, well, I don't want that attention from you, but I want it from him. But at the same time, you have to understand and expect for every single person to give you that type of attention because that's how you present yourself, point blank. So Angel Reese needs to understand that. And I think that's a hard pill for women to swallow. If you dress this way, you're going to get sexualized. Even if you don't dress a certain way, you're going to get sexualized because a lot of men sexualize women when they go outside. Niggas are horny and they look at women even if they got sweats and a hoodie on. It don't really matter what you wear. But what I can tell you is that don't make it worse for yourself if that's how you feel. Don't dress more provocative. And if you do, it doesn't give men the right to say certain comments or act in a certain way. It really doesn't. And that's my next point that I'm gonna get into in a little bit. But it doesn't give men the right to touch on you or say, hey, I want to do this to you and do that to you. It doesn't give men the right to do it at all whatsoever. And I think any man that steps, inside or beyond the boundaries of what a woman is asking is deserves a slap in the face, really, because that's making a woman feel uncomfortable. And me personally, over here at Colleague One and this platform, I don't promote that. But you still have to understand that you might get that attention. There's going to be men out here who think you are a certain way because you're dressed that way. And I think women have to understand that if you're dressed like this person and society normally deems this person that looks this way as this, what do you expect them to deem you as? What do you expect them to look at you as? Right? So if you want to be treated presentable, dress presentable. Even though, because there's a lot of nuance to this conversation, because if you want to be approach presentably, dress presentably. But at the same time, you dressing a little bit more provocative should not mean you get disrespected or you get assaulted or you get, chastised. To me personally, it does not mean that. So that's how I feel about it. When it comes to Shaq, I don't know if Shaq was trying to just give advice for real and, money wise of what she can do, or if it was creepy. Like I said, I think that she's already doing it for free. She's all over the internet in that outfit, in multiple outfits, sexualizing herself for free. It may be sometimes for a bag. So when somebody else tells you that, why now is it a frenzy? Doesn't make any sense to me. What I will say, though, is there's a lot of men, just only pushing the money narrative. Well, Shaq was trying to just give her money or trying to get her to, or give her an idea to make more money. Shaq didn't mean no harm. You know what I mean? Whatever the case is. And I'm going to keep it 100 with y'all. I 100% call cap. I think that men, some older men, especially men like Shaq who are hyper successful, have had a lot of, things and achievements in life. I don't think that sometimes they realize the age that they are, me personally, because even though you have notoriety, fame, and success, I think a lot of things people peak at a certain age, maybe at the height of their career. So I think Shaq, for instance, if you go from being 18, 19, 20, whatever, and you're always praised and you're always famous and you always have a whole bunch of girls, you don't ever really think about your age because nobody's making that a topic of conversation because you have money, fame, and success. So I think a lot of these guys forget that they are older because of the environment they live in. So they're living like a younger guy until they die. So they don't necessarily feel young. And then also I think that they think that due to the women that they deal with all the time, that every woman might surpass or look past the age due to money, fame, and success and notoriety. But that's not always the case, right? And so I think that in Shaq's position, the reason why I'm saying is cap is because he's literally called her like, this is like a daughter to me. He's walked around on senior night. Yes, he's still a man. Yes, he still has eyes. Yes, he can still get aroused. But would you say that to your daughter, point blank? This is the problem that I have with niggas. And so this is not common. I mean, this is not uncommon because niggas like to best friend, sister, daughter their way into some pussy. Let's keep it 100. You see men do it all the time. This is my bestie, but he really want to fuck. This is my sister, but he really wants to fuck. Older dude, this is like a daughter to me. He really wants to fuck. So you see older men and men in general use these ploys constantly to get vagina. So that's nothing new under the sun. So even though, again, he called her his daughter, she should understand that that doesn't necessarily mean he really views her that way. Now, why that's fucked up is because as a woman, and I'm not a woman, but I feel like she should be able to take your word as bond. So if you say, if Shaq says, hey, Angel, you're like a daughter to me, she should be able to take that word as bond and not even have to question that it would be broken. See, and when you're telling a woman that she's like a daughter to you, and then you're going and you're saying things like that, you're not only blurring the lines because she thought that you were like, she was like a daughter to you, and she, you know what I mean? Due to that, she didn't think you would look at her that way. So not only are you blurring the lines, but you're breaking trust. You're creating trauma. You're making somebody feel uncomfortable. Because if I'm a woman and I'm 20-something years old and I see you 50 years old and I'm not attracted to you whatsoever, and when I meet you, it's for mentorship and to, you know what I mean, help me, walk me out on my senior night, and you say, hey, I'm one of the best players the NBA's ever had, I feel like you're a daughter to me. I'm under the impression the whole entire time that that is how you view me, whether or not you're a man, right? So at some point, the sexual attraction has to be delayed and has to be put to the side for morals and respect. Like if I tell a girl you're like a daughter to me, I'm not gonna then turn around and try to fuck her. Some niggas will do that. Those niggas are weird to me. When you start doing the sister, daughter, best friend plays to fuck, you're weird. Just try to fuck. Don't try to do all that because again, you guys are putting these women under false pretenses that you guys are actually there for to better her life. You're actually there to care about what she says and hear her out. When in reality, you're only there to fuck. And at our big age, what is the point of leading somebody down that path if that's all you want is something sexual, or that's all you see them as is something sexual? So I think Shaq was wrong in this instance, and I think he broke her trust in this instance. And I think that while Angel Reese should understand that most niggas are like this, it sucks that we live in a world where women have to think that. As a woman, you shouldn't have to think, hey, does this guy have other intentions with me? Or is he really trying to be like a father figure? Or does he really want to fuck? That's crazy to me. You shouldn't have to question that in these relationships with men. And I think men have to do a better job at being more straight up. If you want to hit. If you say somebody's like a daughter to you, then act that way. Give her that love and that care. Don't blur the lines like that and be sick. Because again, if I'm under the pretense that this is what this is, then I'm not expecting that. So I think Shaq is 100% wrong, man. Y'all gotta at some point understand that. You can't just say whatever to people, especially the opposite sex, and think that, oh, it's just cool, it just is what it is, because I didn't mean it that way. But you don't know if she took it that way. And you on her show. So obviously she was uncomfortable. She said it. And yes, she walks around and she sexualizes herself. That don't mean y'all sexualize her. That's a hard pill for niggas to swallow as well. Like, go ahead, look at the girl. Look at her. Damn, she fine, whatever. But anything other than that, trying to sexualize her is crazy. You going up to a girl and you talking to her, she says she don't be bothered, you keep going, you weird. You make a comment on her clothes or her body, you're weird. You try to touch her, you're weird. Point blank. They're like, I don't even understand why we have these conversations. Shaq knew he was wrong for that. He's 50 years old, and he said that trying to get it off to see what happened. Let's keep it 100. Let's keep it 100. And we can sit up here and say, oh, women know what they, what they're doing, and which I 100% believe that. There's still that double standard of this is who I want to attract and this is who I don't want to. So if you're not one of those people, beat it. It's that simple. But the fact that nobody, I feel like, looks at it through the eyes of, as men, is looking at it through the eyes of Angel is a little crazy, man. She doesn't deserve comments on her, or again, people saying certain things because of that. So we got to start, and I feel like with men, this is the thing that I think we're not doing is we're not as men. And I understand there's great men out there, there's bad men out there, but as men, we got to start doing a better job at believing women. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying on every single thing, but you could tell up there she was uncomfortable. So in the moment where Angel Reese feels uncomfortable and she's telling you to stop, why are we as men jumping on the thing and saying, "Hey, you know what you was doing, you wanted that. Don't be mad at that attention." Da, 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 da. Like, at what point do we listen to the thousands of women that have these experiences and thousands of women that have said they felt uncomfortable or violated, and we say, "Wow, these guys are just shitty"? We don't jump to right away to, "Well, you wanted it, well, you agged him on, well, you provoked it, well, you deserved it." When do we as men start to look at it a different way? Because if you got thousands of women having the same story about men, then obviously to a certain degree, men are the problem. And I think men, and real mature men, can understand that and act accordingly. That doesn't mean it's you as a man. It doesn't mean you're the problem. But you have to understand that our species as men, they fly off the hanger at times, and there's a lot of experience of that. That Angel Reese thing, that's a normal occasion for women. They get called something they don't want to. They get talked to a certain way. They get sent a certain text, a certain picture. Maybe they get chastised in a store a certain way. These are things that they go through, point blank, and they're telling us every day. But as men, instead, a lot of us, what we do, instead of being the protectors and, you know what I mean, the shoulders to cry on and the ears to listen, we go and say, "Oh, you wanted this, you deserve this, you egged it on. This, don't dress this way, or this is gonna happen." I mean, come on, man. We gotta grow up out of that. Because if niggas had daughters, I'm not saying that you're gonna say, "Hey, go out and dress like this." But if your daughter wore whatever and she got sexualized, you're gonna be hot. You're not gonna feel like she deserved that. You're gonna listen to her. You're gonna be that shoulder to cry on. You're gonna be that protector. So we need to start doing that with all women. You know what I mean? Instead of just automatically jumping to accuse them and make them the antagonist in a situation that they were the victim in. We got to grow up and do better. And this Shaq and Angel Reese thing is an example of that. Y'all niggas jumped on there. None of y'all ever. I didn't see too many tweets or Instagram posts about, was Shaq actually weird for that? Like, when you break it down, bro is 50 years old, walked her out, has practiced with her, taught her things, mentored her, and then you come out with that kind of comment. Even if you didn't mean it that way, it doesn't matter how you meant it. Look at the words that you used. Little ass shorts. You saying these things, you know what's going on. You know what I mean? Maybe you didn't understand in that moment and you're a little bit older and you're not hip, but once he said it, it's like, what did you expect? You expected for her to be like, "Oh yeah, you're right." Like, is that what y'all expected for her to do? You're right. I'll wear that outside. Yeah, you're right. Come on, bro. That's not gonna happen. We know that already. You've been alive for 30 some years. Y'all know the double standards that exist. Come on, man. You gotta let the women have some double standards the way we got them. That's just what it is. I don't know what to tell y'all. I don't know what to tell y'all about that. But I think people need to put more emphasis on Shaq and that being weird. Shaq is known to go after 21-year-old girls, 20-year-old girls. Again, they're legal. It doesn't make it pedophilia or against the law. But in my opinion, it makes it sometimes a little bit weird because of the age gap. It's like, what do you really have in common besides you know what? And you can find a woman, if you're 50, that's 30, or 40, that's even still right. So I think it just depends. And I think that Shaq needs to be held more accountable for that. I'm not saying, he loses a business or anything like that, but men should have been out there more on social media like, yeah, that was kind of sketchy. Like, niggas are weird. You done told her that's your daughter and then turned around and kind of told her she should dress sexier to make more money. What kind of fucked up, twisted daughter relationship you got with her? Again, unless you just being one of them weirdos that play the daughter, sister, friend game to get pussy. Some niggas do that, and hey, that is what it is. You be my guest. That's not for me. Want to move on to the next topic. Lil Durk is cooked. We all know this already. We've been known Lil Durk is cooked. Unfortunately, since it came out that he was, what I have to say about that. Hold on, let me just pull up something right there. Okay. We'll just go like that. The Lil Durk situation to me is, we already talked about it on the show, the Viral Way podcast. So if you guys, do want to go see it in detail a little bit more as a group conversation, definitely head over there and check it out. But for me, the Lil Durk situation is, Jay Wan from Joe Budden podcast said he read a book, and there was a line in the book that said that, suicidal thoughts turn into homicidal impulses. And that was like, whoa, for me, because that's something that I kind of always preach. Not those exact words, but the lack of love that we receive in the Black community as kids, the fast growing up that we have to do, the environments, all these things, and not having those outlets to express your emotions and feelings, and then going to your parents and they're saying, you ain't depressed, you just a bitch, or you just soft, or you don't have anxiety, you just a bitch, you just soft, or whatever the case is, PTSD, whatever it is. When you go to these people that have raised you and birthed you, and you try to get love and care from them, and they don't necessarily give it back the way you need because they never had it, and then you get into this fucked up environment around people, you become so angry and have so much pent up aggression that it does turn into homicidal impulses for a lot of these people. A lot of these kids, if they had more love, they would do better. But at the same time, a lot of these kids wouldn't do shit anyway. A lot of these kids had homes with love and decided to fuck off anyway. I don't know Lil Durk's story all the way, but I think at the age he's at, 32, you still trying to go get your get back. Getting your get back don't get you shit but dead or in jail, as you see. You killed the wrong nigga, and now you about to sit in jail, possibly. And the rest of the niggas that you was with. And you didn't even get the right dude. So it's like, at what point does it end? At what point do y'all be like, you know what, we on some other shit? Now, I understand the nuances of just because we have money, it don't mean that real world problems that we went through are going to go away, right? Because I don't give a fuck how much money I got. If it's somebody that I can never forgive, then I could just never forgive. But I think we have to leave it at never forgiving and not crashing out or not acting, and seeking revenge on each other. I think those days should be over, because all you're doing is taking a father away from his kids, a father away from his wife or his girl, a father away from his mother and father, his cousins, his nieces, his nephews. Who knows how many people he's supporting? How many people rely on him? So you taking him away because he took somebody away. And now that you took him away, you're going to go away. So the cycle just rinses and repeats. It's somebody who could have success, fame, and notoriety. They give it up to avenge somebody, and that ends up giving them up. So that generational wealth that we, quote unquote, are supposed to have, that all these rappers, quote unquote, are going to have, and how we try to talk about rap being this, hip hop being this thing that's made millionaires and stuff, a lot of these motherfuckers aren't going to have it around. Because if you locked up for 60 or for the rest of your life, and you got people outside that don't know how to manage money, you got accountants that siphon off of you, other business people that you got to pay, maybe that's chipping in and taking things where you're not looking, how long you think that money going to last? You have no business ideas or ventures. How long you think the money going to last? So you're putting your family at a very big risk by getting taken out the game, by just acting out of emotion. It's no other excuse at this point. Like, we can go and sit around and talk about the generational trauma, and again, how black kids don't get love, and you, or whatever they go through, and there's a tough environment. But at some point, we have to look at one another and say, hey, I look just like you. We could do so much better together than we could do apart or fighting each other. And what sucks about Lil Durk to me is all of that shit he was doing leading up to the arrest was bullshit. That's the most fucked up part to me about the situation. You became Muslim, you converted to Islam, you had the concert, you put your ops up there, you said you forgave him, you was making music videos with J. Cole and kids, you was doing all of these things just to come out and hear that you had plotted or murder for hire. So while you was sitting here preaching about forgiveness and Allah and a better future for kids and a better message to kids, you were behind closed doors doing the exact opposite. So you were a hypocrite in the worst way. That's the most fucked up part for me, because you gave probably thousands of kids hope just to turn around and be a false idol. That's why you have to be careful who you pick as your heroes and who you choose as your idols, because a lot of these niggas really are not worth looking up to. But we can't see that because, again, the chains, the cars, and the clothes, and the hoes. We can't see that. The rap music, he's tough, he's hard. No, he's not. I mean, maybe he is, but it's not going to end well for him. It ain't going to end well for him. It's not ending well for him right now. And then you do all that for what? For niggas to try to fuck your girl when you're gone? To double cross you? To tell on you for a cheeseburger and a Diet Coke? Like, what are you really doing? What are we really upholding? What is it at this point? You have millions of dollars. Why does a group name matter so much? And geographical aspects of your city, why does it matter so much? That's all it really is, bro. It's lines and borders and names and groups. Once you're making millions of dollars, I'm sorry, there's just no more excuse for it. There's no more excuse for it. Oh, well, he has trauma. Well, oh, he wanted to avenge his brother. Well, I don't care about none of that. The police not going to care about none of that. Your baby mama not going to care about none of that. Kids not going to care about none of that when they can't eat. Nobody's going to care about any of that shit that you're talking about as to why you did what you did. Nobody gives a fuck. That's why you did what you did. You did it. Now there's consequences. You see, me, I'm not a street nigga. I've never been in the field. But I speak from the people that are often overlooked, which is the brothers, the sisters, the mothers, the fathers, the kids, right? Who get that call at night. Somebody was arrested. Who got to go to them on them jail visits, or maybe they don't get to go. That now has to grow up without a father, or has to grow up with a father that's in and out, or a father that gets out and now is institutionalized and has to understand his environment more. I'm speaking for the people who are overlooked. We always look at the person in jail. Oh, man, they going through it. Man, he's in the hole. Man, he's getting stabbed. Man, he's doing all this. I don't even know why we pay attention to that. Because, yes, while it's tough, and I understand it's unimaginable for people who have never went in there, you put yourself in there. Nobody else put you in there. It's like when a nigga say, I fought for the country. Like, I'm proud of you, yes, but we didn't force you to do that. You did that on your own. So what do you want to clap on the shoulder? What do you want? You know what I'm saying? So why should we feel bad for you because you did something that you knew would ultimately end you up in jail? Fuck you. You're selfish. Because you didn't think about, and like most of the motherfuckers who are in the street life, who do street shit, they never think about the families and the friends and the whole support system that now is going to be affected when they do what they do. They didn't give a fuck when they was there, and now they want to try to give a fuck now when they're out of position to do so, when it's too late. You see this shit all the time. So to me, it's just bullshit. It's selfish. All you did is negatively affect your kid's life for the next 10, 15, 20 years, however long. Now a little bro or little sis got to grow up without a dad. Now they got to have certain imbalances, right? And see certain imbalances that ultimately get into the subconscious and dictate to a certain degree how you are raised and how you are as a person, unless you can break that. So I don't have no sympathy for the niggas that go to jail because they knew what they was doing. It's hell in there. I'm not saying it's not hell in there, but if you just take away all the nuance and all that bullshit, you did it to yourself. The people who's really suffering is your mom who got to go put money on books or got to go and do the same routine every couple years because you can't get it together. They got to write your house down. Is this where I'm staying after when I get out? Come on, man. Like, that's the people I'm speaking for. Because I didn't have that. I didn't been there. I didn't grown up seeing my pops a certain way. You get what I'm saying? I didn't have a pops all the time because of certain things my pops did and acted in. So I understand how that tears families apart. You get what I'm saying? I understand how it tears family apart. It ain't cool. A lot of families are never put back together after that because a lot of men, we all know jail is a revolving door. Prison is a revolving door. A lot of men who go in and get out, go right the fuck back in. I believe it's like 60 to 70% are going to reoffend within the first 5 years. So you make that one mistake and you may pay for it with the rest of your life and the rest of your kids' life. A lot of times, sins of the father go to the son. Look at Lil Durk's dad. Dad was locked up for 40 years. Imagine if Lil Durk's dad decides to pick a different route. Get out the street shit. Go get a regular job that's lame and lousy and work for a living. Take care of his kids that way. Provide for him that way. Maybe puts him in sports. Who knows what the trajectory is? But sins of the father ultimately fall on the son. Bro did 40. Now your son is about to do life, possibly. So accountability has to be had. There is no more, well, I went through this as a kid. This was my environment, all of this shit, because there's multiple examples of people live right next door to you that don't do any of that. So it's the examples are gone. The examples are done for. You guys are choosing to do this, and you guys have millions of dollars. So y'all are choosing to do these things. So there's no sympathy for you, in my opinion. Do I wish I hope he found not guilty? Yeah, I hope so, because I don't wish jail on nobody. I don't want nobody going there, because I've heard stories of what going in there. I never been myself, but I heard stories of what going in there. It ain't pleasant. So I 100% hope he gets free. But if he doesn't, oh well, you did it to yourself. I don't give a fuck. I ain't gonna lose no sleep over it. I suggest nobody else to. It's like, what are we talking about? Why are we feeling bad for people who do things knowing what the results are? And then tried to trick the youth the whole entire time as some good person for the last 5 to 6 months. That's bullshit to me. Be a villain, bro. Stop. Y'all niggas got to stop doing that too, because these kids can't tell the difference. And that's another problem that I have with people like Lil Durk. It's like, bro, are you a villain or are you a hero? Like, which nigga are you? Like, y'all rappers and some of you black entertainers, y'all don't know if y'all want to be a revolutionary leader or a street nigga. And that's what I keep saying. Like, you can't have 1 foot in and 1 foot out. It doesn't work. You either have to be fully in submittance to Allah and that righteous path, or you're not. There is no, okay, on my 9 to 5, I'm going to do good, but then from 5 to 9, I'm going to do dirt. That dirt going to catch up and meet you at the front door of your 9 to 5. It always do. It always do. It's like y'all don't want to let the street shit go so bad. Like, y'all have to hold on to the image and the vibes and the environment. It's like y'all just can't let it go. You're 40 years old, living in a big-ass house, doing whatever, and you still can't let it go. You have a problem. That's a problem. You don't want to grow up. You niggas got to let that shit go. It's over with. I just don't understand it. I don't understand it. And like I said, the people I feel the worst for is Durk's kids. And whoever else was, you know what I mean, looking for his assistance in life and who needed it. Like, that's fucked up. It's fucked up. But that's why I hate that, because I'm going to go back to that. When it comes to the kids and then they see that, it's like, so what do? Do they go and do the street shit, or they go and do the good shit? You was never good to begin with. And the good doesn't get the notoriety because y'all don't want it to. So y'all, this is what I'm saying. Y'all putting these images in these kids' head. You was just getting with little kids talking about all my life, and now you're going to jail for murder for hire. Now, when we talk about, and this is something else we could switch to, about how the older generation has to take accountability. Because you've seen it play out right now, right? Like Durk went and fooled a bunch of niggas. So what if they were to go and follow his same footsteps? He would have to be accountable for that. It's just like his father has to be accountable for going in jail and ultimately showing Durk that way of life. You got to take that accountability. Old heads got to take that accountability. We sit up here and we talk about this generation, and Gen Z is full of crash outs and they don't give a fuck and they want to post and do everything and blah, 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 all this stuff. In my opinion, that's true. But the older generation, why they have to have accountability is because they sat around them same young niggas, and not all old niggas, but the older niggas who were bummy enough to still be kicking around little homies. They sat around them niggas and they put batteries in their back. They gassed their heads up with false promises. They got them to do missions for them. There's niggas, a lot of niggas like that. Also, a lot of rappers in the hip hop community, we're just now finding out was not rapping or was not living what they were rapping about. When we were kids, we were under the pretense that everything was real. This only became a fake thing in the 2010s. So y'all are pretty much telling kids that are crashing out now that they thought their whole life, you better do that shit. You better be for real. Don't be faking. If you a fake nigga, that's a bitch. You a mark. You saying you're doing it, but you're not really doing that. That's lame. That's Buster shit. We all know that, and that's what we all have been taught, whether you're a civilian or not. We all have heard those things. Like, what? That nigga said he was doing this, but he's not. So the urgency to live what you're actually rapping, it does come from the older generation. Now, maybe they wasn't putting it out there in droves like we are, but we still knew about it. And if social media was back then, a lot of the niggas that was getting caught back then, we would have seen. There's just no social media. So I don't like when people are like, oh, it's just, this newer generation is just crazy. And where did they get it from? Y'all were the same people that was making it seem like this was the route to take. Y'all were the same people going and poisoning the communities. Y'all was the same people selling yourself out. Y'all was the same generation, the same people. So when it gets to this point, then don't just be mad at the newer generation. Y'all need to look within. Damn, how did we get here? Because we for sure got a part to play. Y'all think that these motherfuckers wanted hip hop to last this long? 50 years or 100 years? Y'all think they wanted that? I don't think so. Each generation it gets stepped up a notch. Right now, we might be meeting the demise of hip hop. Because the way it's going, Gen Z ain't gonna have no votes. It ain't gonna have no rappers left over because everybody gonna end up dead or in jail. And that's dead from getting gunshots or drug overdose or something like that. And jail is going to jail for the rest of their life. They're trying to get everybody up out of here. But the older generation has to take some accountability in where we are today because they led us to that. Not reading that paperwork, not doing smart business deals. All those things too, like, have gotten us where we are now, where artists don't even want to care about music and they only want to care about endorsements and touring because the way the system is made and what we've received and what we've accepted has become the status quo. We've accepted the bad 360 deals. We accepted, you know what I mean? Again, not reading a fine lining. That's why we are where we are right now with the music industry and deals and getting ripped off. Obviously, they have part to play, but we accepted it. The same way we accepted the degeneracy, the push of degeneracy, the push of sexuality and violence. We accepted it. We rocked with it. We made it us. So when y'all was doing that in the 90s and the 2000s and it hit the 2010s and y'all see Chief Keef, it's like when you see Tupac hanging out the window, spitting and flipping niggas off or Thug Life on his shirt, smoke out with a do-rag on, like, what? Or getting shot and rolling out the same day, I know who shot me, or Cameron on the news after getting shot. What do y'all think? Where did y'all not understand that eventually what it was going to morph into and transform into? That's where you transform into Chief Keef and a little Durk and the rest of them. That's what it transforms into. So everybody has some responsibility in this shit. Point blank. That's how I feel about it. But with that being said, if you guys are watching this, man, make sure you like, subscribe, run me up, get me in the algorithm. It's Kali the One. Also, if you're headed over to the Vireway podcast, go ahead, like, subscribe, run us up, get us in the algorithm as well over there. Keep the movement moving. Without further ado, man, yep, it's Kali the One. I don't know where y'all are going, but you got to get the hell up out of here.